unfortunately, her season and career is done due to injury.
Well, the good reason for Lynchburg with their depth is that they have a lot of performers that maybe haven't started every game, but they've started a handful, that 5 or 6 portion, and they're going to be out there to start this game and hopefully add momentum early. But without the top attacker, got to find other ways to get it done.
Yeah, I think it brings more of the spotlight for McKenna Steinow, but you have to understand that she's human. She can't do it all. So maybe more shots for Emmy Clay, maybe more shots for Neely Morris, maybe those other great goal-scoring options like Hal Sauer, Messinillo also jump in there and collect a few more tallies on a game-by-game basis.
Still lots to decipher. Clay meets McMasters in the center, and the Hornets are off and running. Neely Morris trying to waste no time, advances right into the attacking third, looks left to Chastity corner. Here's Clay after getting the draw, goes back the other direction. Hornets obviously trying to spread things out, and the quick passing between so many of these seniors is a reason why they are 5-1 at home this year.
Yeah, I think when the rubber is moving, Evan, that's really when Lynchburg is at their best. Yeah, they have players that can ISO and do solos and those kinds of things. We'll see that. But when that rubber moves a lot, Lynchburg is really dangerous offensively.
Clay goes outside. Here comes Morris, north-south, trying to dip it to the left side of the goal. It's out. The Hornets maintain possession.
Yeah, good opening sequence there for Lynchburg. Neely Morris got the hands free, just missed the bullseye there going for the far post.
Still 40 on the ticker, and the first one stings through. Lynchburg on the board in a hurry, just outside the opening minute. Emmy Clay, first goal scorer for Lynchburg today, the Virginia Beach, Virginia product. Radford transfer, and it's the 12th goal of the season.
Yeah, Emmy Clay said earlier this week, you know, we're not playing bad lacrosse. We just got to be a little bit better. We'll get this thing turned around. 2-game losing streak, no big deal. And that's a great way to get it turned around, starting with a goal, 13:58 left to play in the first.
So back to the middle we go. Kyle, we advertised all the attacking numbers for a Guilford team that has 3 players scoring 35 or more in the season. Question is, can they get possession?
You got to get those draw controls or cause turnovers. I mean, those are really the only ways in lacrosse that you're going to get possessions. I mean, yes, you can get shot clock violations and those kinds of things, but you've got to win some of those DCs, and it looks like Lynchburg's got another one.
Lynchburg currently occupies the longest win streak in series history. 7 straight belong to the Hornets. This is the first matchup at Schellenberger since the 2022 season. So the Quakers trying to familiarize themselves in a hurry. Steinow trying to get back to a familiar sight, and that's the net, but not this time.
Yeah, a little shake, rattle, roll there. Fabulous moves by McKenna Steinow. Just couldn't finish it off. Give a good credit for a save there for Nasrati.
Quakers failing to get up the field. They were perfect, 16 of 16 from the clear last game. Now Lynchburg right back to business. Move on that far side. It goes back outside to Neely Morris. Hornets have done very well throughout the season when they're on the board in a hurry. And it's another one for the freshman, Lily Messinillo. 15th goal of the season. She leads all the newcomers for the Hornets. That's just an easy pass and precision on the shot.
Yeah, great screen from Neely Morris. Emmy Clay uses that to free up a little space, and then kind of a change-up pass to Messinillo. It wasn't full velocity, Evan, but that allowed Messinillo a little bit of an easier catch, turn, and then the sidearm whizzer right by the tendy.
Looks like they're actually going to strip this one off the scoreboard as Messinillo heads to the box.
Yep.
So that's just an advertisement of perhaps what's to come. Freshman has been so good early in the season. And Kyle, we talked about it with Emmy Clay. You know, you're seeing so many of these newcomers in the starting lineup, but you still have a large portion of the reason why you've been so successful in the last few seasons.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Great mix of veteran and newcomers. I think all the great teams, maybe not all, but a lot of the great teams have that. They have a mix of new faces and dependable faces that have been around.
Guilford, perhaps their first offensive possession, at least for a prolonged amount of time. Pass goes over the top. McMasters couldn't corral all the way back to Virginia Heffernan. Looking to run down the sideline. Lots of fresh turf ahead, and Lynchburg trying to send numbers forward. Here comes Steinau. He's matched the numbers of Sidney Dumas to begin this season. Very stellar start, 36 goals and 3 assists. Timberg pass over the top to Clay. Opening 4 minutes of action here in the Hill City. Lynchburg up 1-0.
I think if you're Lynchburg, you want to obviously keep the pressure on, but you do know that Messineo is still on the sideline with the infraction. It's still just a 1-0 Lynchburg lead instead of 2-0 like we thought it might be.
Well, we've seen so much transition from this team throughout the season, and like you mentioned, probably a good reason to slow things down. Make sure the passes are on point, which this time it's an unforced error. Escapes out the far side. Guilford will take over.
And if you look at depth, Guilford only has 3 in uniform on the bench. So if Lynchburg wanted to play an up-tempo type of game, that might be beneficial for the Hornets. But Tiger can't really change its stripes. So you got to stick with what you do best, regardless of what the other team's roster situation is.
No doubt. You're hoping it's a healthy environment for Guilford. Not a very hot day here in the Hill City, so your depth won't be as tested. Obviously, we've seen some games go up into the 70s and 80s. April and Virginia roll a dice every day of the month. Clay, pass inserted. Morris sticks the landing.
Fantastic assist by Emmy Clay right here. Really it feels like she's got 2 assists, but just one, a goal and an assist. And how about this flash across the middle, moving left to right, Neely Morris? Yeah, that's just fantastic athleticism. The pass was on target. That let Neely Morris do what she wanted to do with it.
Senior Brenna Holden was on her hip, and that was just enough to create the pocket of space. Lynchburg adds another to the tally. This is a Hornets team that has dropped back-to-back games. Kyle, we've already talked about it at length. You go back to Saturday, March 28th for their last game, a 14-9 defeat at Roanoke. You're not losing to easy opponents. There are many of them that have been at the top of the table, but you just hope that you create a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, and Lynchburg has lost 3 out of 4 as well. So you got to think they start the season 7-1, playing really some great lacrosse at times. You lose 3 out of 4, it can shake your confidence a little bit. But I think once the momentum gets going again, like right here maybe.
Haley Williams tried it. This one, it's snagged out by Nusrati in the goal. That is very true, though, when you look at so many of the scheduled events, you have those conference opponents that are tricky at the top. Roanoke, Randolph-Macon, 2 that are no different. This is a conference as well that's been dominated by W&L in recent years as Morris lost her footing. You go back to 2003, the Generals have only lost 1 conference championship, so that proves that even those tough opponents in the middle still have levels to the conference and its success.
Yeah, and it's a ladder that it's hard to make big jumps to the top of. You got to take it rung by rung, and we've been talking about that with Lynchburg. It does feel like they continue to climb that ladder. Yes, a championship is the ultimate goal, but sometimes you have to work your way up to that ultimate goal.
That's why these games are so important, and for a team like Guilford, trying to go and win 3 conference games for the first time in a long time, you feel like this is a big first step. 2021, the last time the Quakers had at least 3. So the shot is off the mark. They look to clear on the other side.
Couple botch clears already for Guilford. They need to sharpen up this area, and I think it might be use the sidelines a little bit more. Sometimes as a defender, you just want to get rid of the ball as quick as you can. And case in point right here, trouble for the Quakers.
Morris one-on-one with Nusrati, and the shot denied. Brilliant stick work just to anticipate. And Guilford gets away with one.
Yeah, I think Nusrati is really, really talented back there. Just got to find a way to clear it and get to work offensively. You're going to get to see number 4, that's Whitfield, Trinity Whitfield, for me, she's one of the better defenders for Guilford. And if she could insert herself a little bit more on the clear, maybe that could be beneficial for the Quakers. But you're seeing it right here. Lynchburg pressing high, making it tough, trying to go with the full field ride. And right now it's just a holding pattern for Guilford. I mean, we're not seeing anything in the last 20 seconds. This is not probably what the fans came out for, Evan, but this does happen occasionally in our game.
Doesn't it feel like, too, you saw the save on the replay from Nusrati. It's the sense that you've got to have a committee defense because sometimes one or two denials aren't enough to stop the possession. Quakers trying to advance this time, maybe their best opportunity yet. Dodge in and out. No shot yet.
Carm DeFio there. She really went up high nicely with one hand to catch that long clearance from the goalie. And as you said, took a peek at the cage, but opted not to shoot.
Shelton, Connecticut product. By the way, DeFeo, back in high school, captained the lacrosse, basketball, and soccer teams.
Is that
for
all?
High school? Right. You couldn't add one more. This time it's heading the other direction. I mean, I was doing okay just to be a part of one of the teams.
Right, just to make a team. But tough luck there for Guilford. They got to scramble back and play defense again.
Hornets on the prowl. Pass to the right. Chance for Williams, and the referee will intervene. Looks like it'll be our first free position opportunity. Haley Williams from Blacksburg, Virginia. Longwood transfer. 8 goals on the season. Looking to notch a 9th, and the whistle blows again.
Lynchburg 54% in the free position opportunities this year. 5.44 is the batting average, which is pretty good, and all coaches will tell you, well, it could be better. We could be making them all.
And it works out this time. 3rd for the Hornets, 9th for Williams. You know what's been so impressive about the shooting percentages, it's not just the free position that Lynchburg has really capitalized on. As we'll keep it right here. Here's another look at Williams' shot. Just went right, no chance for Nusrati to save. Kyle, this is a Lynchburg team that is 8th in Division III for shooting percentage at 52%. So while the accuracy is there in the free position, it's everywhere else on the field.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that with shooting skill should transfer to all areas, not just the free position shots. But you saw some classic lacrosse scoring right there, high to low. That's always a great way to beat the goalie, and it worked right there. So if you're using those concepts in your full field shooting and all your other situations, well, those numbers go up. And Lynchburg really has been very terminal on the offensive side, and they make the most of their shooting chances.
See the Hornets huddle looking very calm on the other side. There's a very animated Taylor Pyle trying to get a little bit of action out of her team, and they understand if you start out slow in a game like this against Lynchburg, very tough to come back. The Hornets have yet to drop a game when they lead after the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's a great stat there for Lynchburg. You know, we probably undersold in our open how important the first quarter is for Lynchburg. They were down 7-1 against Roanoke in that loss on the road in Salem, down 8-4 at halftime. And maybe that's not just Lynchburg, right? Maybe that's all lacrosse teams. You go down 6 goals, I think the numbers say you're not going to come back. So you want to make sure you're sharp in these first few minutes. Again, that's a cliche. Every coach is saying that, but the teams that execute that and the teams that do come out strong, they end up having a lot of success.
No doubt about it. And hindsight's 20/20. You always appreciate when you have the numbers. You try to improve when you don't. But this is a Lynchburg team that is trying to keep their stats where they're at. Speaking of that Roanoke trip, that was a committee affair for this Lynchburg team because the men's team also played in Salem that day. It's similar for Guilford today. The men's team playing Lynchburg at 7 o'clock after this one.
Yeah, classic doubleheader. I really like it because I think, you know, if you were a fan, maybe you're more inclined to travel to watch 2 of your teams play rather than just one. And if you're a Lynchburg fan, you might be more inclined to come out to both games. Hopefully we have a lot of people that are going to watch both today, and hopefully we got a lot of folks watching. But Yeah, I like the old school doubleheaders where the men's and the women's are playing the same team. That just works for me from a sports perspective.
Well,
we don't get it a lot in basketball, but
no, you don't.
I like it when it happens.
And if you didn't like one result, well, just wait around another hour. Hopefully
right.
it works out for Lynchburg. Unfortunately for the women's team that day, that ended up being the storyline. The men's team came out after, able to get a victory against the Maroons, but that was not exactly by a large margin. There was a point in that game where Roanoke had taken off in the first half. Lynchburg able to avoid trouble, and they still remain in that top 5 of the nation. Here comes Guilford the other way. Emma Garland going to give way to Hannah McMasters. Attack starts from the top, and we'll see if the instructions from Coach Pyle come to fruition.
Yeah, finally a draw control, though, for Guilford. So let's see if the Quakers can build on that. Maybe you don't even have to score here, but I think if you're Guilford, really big emphasis, let's get a good look. Let's get some good shots off.
Passing, unfortunately, has been the problem as the ball rolls out on the near side again, and they won't have their chance now. Lynchburg moving the other direction. Quick one up the field. Now an opportunity for Hossauer, left to Steinow. Ball scurries right into the middle. Retrieved, and the Hornets can set up shop.
Yeah, that Guilford possession, I guess that's going to go down as the antithesis of what they wanted down there. But now got to really rally and play defense again. Can't fall down 4 goals early here if you're Guilford.
Say antithesis 10 times quick.
I couldn't even say it twice.
I couldn't barely say it once. Hornets still searching, pass all the way over. Here comes Steinow in isolation, moving towards the middle, runs into traffic.
Good help there. Sent 3 defenders at her.
Oh, Hossauer, nice slip to get into the middle, but right to Nusrati.
Yeah, she's really solid in the pipes. I think she's got great hand-eye coordination. She seems to understand what the attackers want to do against her, knows where those windows to shoot are at. This is the problem for Guilford right now. This clearance is just, you can tell it is not buttoned up, as there's just too much holding going on right now, I think, if you're a Quakers fan.
That's why it's so difficult to beat this Lynchburg team. They run and run some more and capitalize on the problems. Perhaps another one-on-one. Steinow, all sorts of time. The fake, and notches it in.
Took a shot upstairs there, I believe, from a stick. Steinow finished it off anyway. Beautiful goal. Starts with the pressure. She gets the steal. A lot of the cage to work with. You said it. The fake there, and you saw how it sold the goalie. Stick went high right. That allowed Steinow to go to her right, goalie's left, and now Lynchburg leads by 4. Yeah, looks like McKenna Steinow is gonna stay in. Just a bump there. Nothing too much to worry about, as the other gals are having a laugh about it. So that's how you can tell how injured you are when the other players look at you. If they give you a grimace and they go, ooh, something like
that's
that,
right.
Then you know you really got a problem. But if they're laughing about it, then it must not be too bad.
When you're at this point of your career and the final portion of the senior season, most of that stuff is pretty much taken care of from a culture standpoint. Meet back in the middle, 4-0 Lynchburg. Guilford looking to get on the board. Work near side. Pass forward. That's one of the better ones we've seen as Garland has space. Lynchburg has really used those easy opportunities. Haven't had any tricky shots so far. Large reason why that shooting percentage continues to climb. Kylie Wood finds the opening and looks south, but can't get it. Here comes Heffernan.
Virginia Heffernan does so much heavy lifting for Lynchburg on the defensive side. She's really good on those sprint clears. That's the difference between Lynchburg and Guilford. Lynchburg defenders not afraid to just run it up the field.
Heffernan, 20 ground balls, 9 caused turnovers on the season. Numbers that have climbed throughout her career. Up to the top. Pass now to the right. Steinow back in command. Tries to feed it through the center. Final 3 minutes of the first quarter. Hossauer ready to notch left. That is silky smooth from the junior.
This is precision, too. Watch where this ball goes. You're going to get to see a replay of it. Fantastic camera work here. I mean, what a bullseye. What an absolute dot to the upper 90 there. Almost unstoppable for a goaltender.
Just inches away from hitting the pipe, but even if you get the orange, I think that's directing the right way. Hossauer on the board, goal number 17 of her junior season. Last year was a second-team All-ODAC selection, and Kyle, you and I have gotten to watch her progression over the years. You think about the number of graduates after this season, a senior class of 11. Hossauer's role is going to grow exponentially next year.
Yeah, she could really be the feature option next year, and I think she's going to continue to work on her game. She's going to get faster and stronger, and we'll see even more precision on the shooting side. Right now we see another draw control win for Lynchburg. For the Quakers, this is almost a nightmare scenario for them. They're not winning the DCs. You had the great stat about how important that is. Right now they're on the wrong side of the number.
It's a committee effort. And the draw for Lynchburg, Emmy Clay got the party started, and she has been a big feature in the middle of the field. Hornets have enjoyed 42 draw controls from her. That's coming into this game. That number is expected to climb. Hossauer trying to facilitate again. Pass to the middle. Timberg trying to soft one over the top. Hornets will keep the ball in their sticks.
Committee effort goal scoring wise too, having 5 goals from 5 different players.
Perhaps a 6th was on the way. This time it's scooped up. Liz Poitras was in the area code.
I think that's the idea, is to get a lot of different players involved. Better idea on the clearance here for Guilford. Let's see if the Quakers can maximize an opportunity.
Oh, nice move from McMasters. Fresh turf ahead. She'll stop back outside. Tell you, without Sydney Newmas as well, it almost has to be a committee affair because you don't want 1 or 2 players to be heavily scouted. You want to try and diversify the portfolio. Extra move. The shot scooped up right before it hits Owings. Taylor Doherty did enough to prevent it, but Garland back in possession. Wood can't hold on. Ground ball now belongs to McMasters.
Yeah, McMasters, with her physical profile, she can really give you the hips and the shoulders and take some of those ground balls back, and that's a good combination. I mean, that's what Guilford needs to do. They got to get some extra possessions somehow to fight their way back in the game.
Mentioned she's a transfer from Delaware State, but she's also a grad student. Played 4 seasons for the Hornets as Owings goes upstairs for the save.
Great save by Olivia Owings. That's fantastic stuff there.
Full steam ahead. Here comes Hossauer. Hornets with numbers. They'll slow things down. Ready for the pass right in front of the goal. A chance now for Scoggin with the hesitation and slides it through for the 6th goal.
6 goals, 6 different players. Margaret Scoggin Jr. from Raleigh. Fantastic tally right here. Lynchburg had options left and right. Look at her lean in there and kind of force her way in, just barge into Trinity Whitfield there, and did a nice job with the stick work while taking the hit. That's good play.
Nice assist from Hossauer as well, and her point total is going to be under some heavy analysis because she is close to 100. Came into this one with 94 career points. That's in 47 appearances with the Hornets. Already a goal in this contest as well. Final 9-6 of the first quarter. See if either team can make something meaningful of it. Garland goes to the far side of the field. Gonna have to heave. Instead, she'll let the clock run out. Of course, Guilford can start with possession in the second quarter. One of the rule changes for this season. Hornets up 6-0. Everything going right in the Hill City. And we have enjoyed a shooting display to get it underway. We'll be back in a moment on LHSN.
It's in our DNA. Making a difference. Being real, innovative, and strong wherever you are. Creating change. You believe the world can be better. We all can be better. And here is where we start making it happen. Fostering belonging. No matter who you are, here, you're home. Achieving excellence. From the classroom to the court, we don't settle. Neither should you. Lynchburg, it's in our DNA. Today, tomorrow, always.
A trademark of this place is self-expression. Not forced, not filtered, not a facade. We don't shape students into copies. We help you find your own voice.
This is awesome. Like, not just for your career benefit, but also personal benefit. I mean, you can learn how to invest your own money. And you can learn how to do it here.
They get the hands-on experience, direct interaction with brokers, and they are learning all the different classifications of investing firsthand.
Kind of regardless of your background or skill set, there's a place for you, and you're going to want to make some money.
All Lynchburg to get this contest underway through 15 minutes. They lead Guilford 6-0. Evan Gates, Kyle Haney spending this Wednesday afternoon with you. And Kyle, we've had the privilege to cover a lot of different sports for Lynchburg this spring, and so far it has just been an incredible start. You've got two teams in the top 5 in the nation. You feel like that's the trajectory for so many of these programs, and you see squads like this just a little bit behind that curve trying to get on it, and it's promising after this season.
It really is. The two teams, Evan's talking about baseball and also men's lacrosse, but I think Lynchburg just has such a winning culture. Some people would say, oh, other sports don't influence this sport or that sport. I would disagree. I think when you're around winning coaches and winning teams, that becomes the standard. You try to elevate yourself to that standard. Rising tide lifts all boats. All of our athletes and coaches support each other as well, so that's an element in there too. It's a great time to be a fan, that's for sure.
Definitely feels contagious, and this is a squad under Coach Mackenzie Rafferty that has succeeded in her first few seasons. 31-18 record with the Hornets. Chester Springs, Pennsylvania native at the helm. Guilford starts with possession. Lynchburg cleaned out the closet in the first quarter, went with 6 different scores to get this one underway, and that has been a balanced breakfast as McMaster's shot is denied, but a flag comes out. Hornets heading the other way. Opportunity now for Neely Morris in transition. Pass down the field. Window wide open. And Messinio's shot off somebody's stick. Looks like it was a save from Nusrati.
Again, Nusrati really impresses me with what she's doing. She's been under heavy fire. Messinio just wouldn't let it go there. Nice job to tear the rubber back and sprint down the near left sideline.
Sometimes you lose possession. You want to get it back yourself. Did exactly that. Obviously, it started with that stellar shot opportunity right in front of the goal. Now the Hornets can slow things down.
Yeah, I think a little bit more settled possession here, but another good save from Nusrati. And it kind of continues our theme. Guilford just unable to clear the ball and really get many offensive chances. Right now, the Quakers have just been on their back heels way too much.
Clay threads it through, and Timberg shots off the mark. Scoggin, second chance. Look at the convergence. So many Hornets right in front of the goal. Another chance this time for Madison Stewart that was off the mark. Back to Haley, or beg your pardon, Neely Morris.
Good job to fight it back by Lynchburg. Nice, interesting play there, just sort of flooding the front porch to try to get a lot of bodies in front. And let's see if they try that again, or maybe a little bit more spread out here on this run through.
Trying to knock the door down. They have done so early. Holding the Quakers scoreless. Look at the nifty move from Neely. Another shot off the mark. Second chance. Timberg ready to move forward. Stick on the ground. 21 in white. adds a 7th, her first goal of the contest.
Oh, beautiful stuff from Timmy right here. Emma Timberg, one of our favorites, one that has dealt with injury a lot through her career, so always nice when she gets a goal. And, yeah, real thread work there. That was very nice to rip the cords for Lynchburg's 7th goal.
Mentioned the injury history, and it's so tough for anyone. I mean, ask Sydney Dumas right now. You're in the heart of one of the best seasons you've had and already a historic career. Can be tricky, but you even see right now Timberg playing with a brace. It still feels like it can impact you into future seasons as she suffered that torn ACL. What hasn't changed, though, is that commitment, and you really appreciate it from a large senior class.
Commitment is a great word. You have to have that to be successful in sports and in life. You just have to choose what you want to be committed to. I think so many players on this Lynchburg team, they have made that choice that, hey, we're committing to our sisters and our ball club, and we're committing to get more wins. They want to have fun. Coach Raff said that before the game when I was walking out with her. She said, yeah, we want to play 60 minutes of great lacrosse, but we always want to have fun.
Feels like those two can go hand in hand more often than not. And Lynchburg really enjoyed that success early in the season, started out 4-0. Obviously, a little bit of turbulence in the middle of conference play, losing back-to-back games, but it does feel like it is only temporary as a green card is assessed to Emily Parker. We'll head to the box. Lynchburg has an extra number.
Yeah, she was offside there. You could see her jump over that red line, and she kind of realized it and tried to sneak back over with the ref not seeing her, but unfortunately for her, the striped shirt was right there and ends up issuing just our 2nd penalty of the game so far. We had a pretty penalty-free first quarter, we mentioned.
Very clean one, and it resulted in a goal being knocked off the scoreboard. Lynchburg thought they had their 2nd of the game early on, but obviously they've accelerated to a 7-goal lead. Extra pass right into the middle. Snuffed out this time. And it's going to be a Hornet heading to the sideline. Madison Stewart this time whistled for the card, and so we're all evened up.
It's a little bit more what we're used to. We were mentioning how in the first quarter, just the one penalty felt like far below the average. I guess that's a stat they keep somewhere. You could check the average of the green and the yellow cards. Let's not factor in red cards because those don't happen very often. But I don't know. It feels like we normally get maybe 4 to 5 between the two teams each period.
That would be a good
normal?
one to look at.
Yeah.
It's more than one.
It's more than one, yes.
Well, you go back to the announcers' jinxes as well. You think about, you finally started talking about it, then it happened. Thought it was funny in the Final Four. Ian Eagle waited to say a free throw percentage till the shot was in, so he couldn't jinx it. Hornets, other way, on the prowl, and Clay's shot met at the mountaintop.
Man, really nifty move there to kind of duck under a couple defenders and squeeze through, but couldn't close the contract at the end of another good save from Nusrati. She continues to impress me.
Obviously, right now, it's just the run support that has been the struggle for Guilford. Haven't scored in this one. This is a Quakers team who offensively has matched the numbers of Lynchburg early in the season. Obviously, the defense has been a bit of the struggle if you're looking at these two teams comparatively. They will relinquish possession right on the line. McMasters thought she did enough. Instead, the Hornets take over. 10:40 to go in the second quarter.
A little bit of bad luck there, and it's probably indicative of the way the first half has gone for Guilford. They just can't seem to get a break. There is some self-inflicted damage, sure, but there is also just a few things that have gone against them. And full credit to Lynchburg as they continue to apply the pressure.
Neely Morris, wide open. Centerpiece, 8-0.
Way too much space there for Neely Moore. She is going to make you pay if you leave her this wide open. Breakdown defensively for Guilford. Again, give Lynchburg credit. They spread the field. That was kind of what caused that breakdown. Look at the velocity, the speed on the head of that stick coming through. That's big time right there.
That is years of work put into the moment, and you feel like for Neely Morris, she won't miss many with an open pocket of space.
The women don't really use, the step down the way the men do. That's as close as to a true step down ripper as you're going to get. Neely Morris, she's got the skills to do that.
Well, the confidence to go from range as well can be a tricky puzzle to solve. So many times you have the open lane, you say, let's just go straight to the goal. Instead, Morris able to slow things down. That's a big reason why this Hornet squad has to still feel optimistic without Dumas. Neely Morris has had some breakout seasons in the past. Of course, you consider the draw control numbers as well. 9 goals coming into this game, but also 16 assists, 28 draw controls as Garland looks left for the Quakers' first goal of the contest.
Good one here for Garland. She's really, really a good player, and Lynchburg has done a nice job of keeping her in check. But these great players, they're going to find a way to make an impact. Nice little sidearm fling there. Caught it, turned counterclockwise into the shooting motion, and got it back there for the first goal of the game for the Quakers.
Don't think Owings was anticipating a shot as early as it happened. As that stick was unable to get up. 8-1, Lynchburg still in front. Busy day as per usual in the ODAC. We'll try to keep you updated as much as possible. 5 conference games tonight. The big one, a rematch of the ODAC title game. Shenandoah at Washington and Lee. And as we mentioned earlier, the Generals once again looking unstoppable, but you never know in these games. You get a little bit more of a picture of what to expect later portion of the season.
Yeah, and Lynchburg still to play Shenandoah and Washington and Lee. So I think the Hornets are still going to have a say there. They want to get to the top of that ladder, as I've been saying, and I just don't think they're that far away from it. Who knows if this is the year or not, but Lynchburg, to me, is close.
Quakers earning another draw, another chance for Garland, but Owings is better this time. Hornets looking out the back door, pass up the field, and a chance for Madison Stewart. Setting it in motion. Williams, pass to the middle. Another one right in front of the goal. Messineo, no problem.
All set up by Neely Morris on the defensive side, makes a long pass to the middle, gets it back, and then feeds it to Messineo, who does not miss from point-blank range.
Very impressive scoring. I believe Neely Morris is the only repeat offender. Hornets have 8 different scores on the day. That is another nifty shot.
Messineo's so good with those catch and shoots around the goal. That's typically how she gets a lot of her goals. But she understands the other ways to score goals, and she doesn't have to force it in any one way. Just a really, really nice first year for Lily Messineo. I'm very impressed with her. And I think, again, as she continues to improve her game, sky's the limit for how many goals she can score.
No doubt. To see those contributions as a freshman with the veteran attackers on this team says something to be near the top of the goal tally. Hornets are in possession again. They look back the other direction. Williams now reverses it all the way to Clay. Felt like Guilford just struggled from the start. That was a theme of their last game, but they were on the right side of it. Faced Randolph, first conference win of the season in 17-4 fashion. And they led 6-0 after that first quarter. Scramble right in front of the goal. Quakers saving this opportunity.
Better decision there by the Quakers with a little bit of a quicker outlet, less holding that one, but unfortunately the pass wasn't completed.
Neely Morris did a little bit of everything. Causes the turnover. Hornets going the other way, and they can settle down. Williams now looking to Stewart. And the carousel in full operation. Really appreciate the opportunity to be methodical at this stage of the game, holding on to an 8-goal lead. Flag comes out from the referee.
I think it's going to be a free position opportunity for Lynchburg. It will be. You mentioned Lynchburg being methodical. I mean, this is a situation where they really are just dictating their will completely right now.
And it is a centering opportunity for Messineo. Looks with the side slot and able to capitalize. That shot looked a little unconventional as she gets it right past Nusrati. Double figures for the Hornets end this first half, and still 7:24 to go in the second quarter. Let's take another look at this. That is impressive stuff.
Yeah, I love that. That's high skill right there. She's got all those different slots to shoot from, and that's what she gets a lot on the catch and shoot in front of the goal. She'll go from the sidearm there. Really, we don't see Lily Messinillo go over the top that much. I know she has that in the repertoire, but she's so impressive from that lower angle there, parallel with the ground, and still gets velocity and accuracy on it.
We talk about so many shots that are on the bottom shelf and a lot of high to low action. Well, if you have that side slot available and you can elevate that shot, it is so tricky for a goalkeeper to even judge where it's heading.
Yeah, you really get the goalie in a blender when you start doing things like that, and the defense as well, because you can shoot around defenders a little bit.
Quakers just trying to hold on to the rock, goes near side. Picked up by Doherty. Now Lynchburg in transition again. Looking to make the lead double figures. Williams sneaks through, wide open. The shot denied. Guilford will take possession. Violation from the Hornets, but a chance to get it right back. Garland wanted it. Now Neely Morris leading the chase for it. That was actually Hossauer for the Hornets converging with the Quakers' Trinity Whitfield.
Yeah, Whitfield, one of their ground ball leaders on the defensive side. Also 5 caused turnovers. Just a straight-up collision there. Everybody seems to be okay in Lynchburg possession.
Just feels like as this game has gone on, Lynchburg, as you said, has imposed their will. Really dominated the possession stats and the draw. Messinillo wants another. Sniffed out. Did it go over the line? Yes, it did. An elongated pause, but the Hornets have their 11th. Messinillo with just enough velocity as it was stopped by Nusrati, but not trapped.
Yeah, getting that rebound so crucial, and you can see it right there. Another fantastic replay from our LHSN on Flow team. How about a hat trick for Lily Messinillo, number 40 in white, headed to the sideline for a much-needed breather. First hat trick for Lynchburg. Neely Morris, the only other Hornet with multiple goals, and Messinillo might not be done. Just a little respite here to catch her breath and get ready to score some more.
17th goal of the season. And I don't think you can exactly say that the season is still young at this point. We're into the heart of April, but it does feel like there are several games left for that stat to go up. Guilford gets possession. Carm DeFeo working outside, guarded by Hossauer. Now we'll look left to McMasters. Final 5 minutes. Said Masters so many times today. You got the golf tournament coming up this week, right in the middle of April, we mentioned, which is one of the better sports times of the entire year.
Yeah, it really is. You don't get one of those sports equinox moments because we don't have football going, but so many other great sports are right in the middle of, I think, what is the best time of the year. But I'm biased.
That's right. Both of us. Just good to see warm weather again.
That too.
Garland lost the rock, and the Hornets take over the other way. Tell you what, it's also easy to be biased the way that Lynchburg has been performing on the spring sports slate. Already mentioned it earlier. The men's lacrosse team, the baseball team, nationally ranked the entire way. This women's lacrosse team got off to a 4-0 start. Really, the entire slate even had that men's volleyball team that ended their season yesterday in the ODAC tournament. But you look at the direction of all these different programs performing simultaneously, and it's that culture that is elevated. Steinow on the run. Free position on the way.
Yeah, Steinow had been on the sideline for much of quarter number 2. I think just giving some other people a chance. I think she's 100%. But now she'll look to rejoin the goal-scoring party.
As we said, the Hornets haven't played since March, so rest shouldn't be an issue, but
Right.
there are a lot of games coming up as Steinow easy sailing for another.
Multiple goals in 14 straight now for McKenna Steinow. She's gotten 2 or more in 14 consecutive games. That dates back to last season, of course, because this is only game 13 or so this year for Lynchburg. She's got multiple goals now in 21 of her last 23 and strutting her stuff a little bit, having a good time on the green turf at Schellenberger.
Coach Rafferty made that comment earlier about the entire team having fun out there. No one shows it more than Steinow.
She's got a bag full of moves there. I mean, it's a dance-off right now.
Feels easier to do that when you're up 12-1. And Lynchburg has enjoyed several lopsided affairs here on Schellenberger, but also earlier in the season. You had those few overtime games. You got to persevere, and those are the ones where the Hornets really appreciate that they can find their way through. Hossauer green card. She heads to the box inside the final 2 minutes here in this first half.
Sorry, Evan. It was the overtime wins against St. Mary's and then also Rhodes here on this home turf. The one loss was to Randolph-Macon, and I think Lynchburg's filing that one away. If they could maybe take on the Yellow Jackets in conference play, they would feel pretty good about their chances, but we'll see if that matchup materializes again. It has the last 3 seasons. Lynchburg's ended up meeting Macon in the first round.
And how many of those games have been decided by a single tally? That's what you hope if you're Coach Rafferty, and obviously the last game got away from the Hornets a little bit earlier, but this is a Lynchburg team that knows that they can move stride for stride with the Yellow Jackets. As Guilford has a free position, McMasters from the middle. Ready to fire, and Owings just a step ahead.
Yeah, Owings has been very solid. She obviously hasn't been tested as much. I think it's only 5 shots now for the Quakers, but she's been good. She's let 1 between the pipes, but Owings continues to impress in her freshman season.
Here comes Timberg. Mentioned that Owings has played every single minute, and that is not an easy role to live up to as a freshman. But the fact that you have 3 more seasons, you get that level of experience, you got to feel like the coaching staff is confident for the future. Steinow able to move past, full steam ahead, but the shot just above the top shelf. Final 8 seconds. Hornets got to get something. Pass right into the bread basket, and Steinow puts another on the board. Tell you what, Lynchburg living up to the advertisement in this first half. McKenna Steinow has another. The scoring at a premium to make it 13-1 here in the Hill City as we head to the break. Halftime stats and analysis on the other side here on LHSN and Flo College.
Your calling is beyond the classroom, far beyond. This is where you feel at home, where you feel connected. And this is the place where you'll answer that call. Here, you'll learn to lead the way in the industry you love, so your calling and connection become your profession. the equestrian sport management major at the University of Lynchburg. Accepting applications now.
See, in this hive, everybody has a place. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody is a part of the swarm. We are engineers of empathy, architects of tomorrow, and storytellers of today. We're not waiting to change the world. We already doing it.
It's in our DNA. Making a difference, being real, innovative, and strong wherever you are. Creating change. You believe the world can be better. We all can be better. And here is where we start making it happen. Fostering belonging. No matter who you are, here, you're home. Achieving excellence. From the classroom to the court, we don't settle. Neither should you. Lynchburg, it's in our DNA. Today, tomorrow, always.
Here in Lynchburg, the cage birds don't just sing, they soar. Because at Lynchburg, they were finally seen. A trademark of this place is self-expression. Not forced, not filtered, not a facade. We don't shape students into copies. We help you find your own voice. Unapologetic, authentic. Because to be a Hornet is to think differently.
It's in our DNA. Making a difference. Creating change. Fostering belonging. Achieving excellence. Lynchburg, it's in our DNA.
Honors for anybody looking to make a difference.
It's really community and connecting with the people around you. It's been one of my favorite parts of college.
Your calling is beyond the classroom. This is where you feel at home, where you feel connected. And this is the place where you'll answer that call. Here, you'll learn to lead the way in the industry you love. The equestrian sport management major at the University of Lynchburg. Accepting applications now.
Thank you for everything, Dr. Evans. You have made a huge impact on my athletic training journey, and I appreciate all the help you have given me along the way. Lynchburg is super lucky to have such an amazing clinical coordinator and professor. That's so sweet.
Dear Dr. Sarah Johnson, you are the best. You're super encouraging and really empathetic. I'm not sure if I would have made it through the first part of the semester without your complete understanding and patience. I really appreciate your help and trust in me that I would come through with my assignments after being kicked down by my loss. Thank you so much for letting me have the extra time on my paper. I know I say this a lot, but I'm so glad you're teaching us. Happy Teachers Appreciation Day.
Just wanted to say thank you for all that you do for the campus community. You make it a better place by giving others a space to feel welcome, accepted, and heard. Thanks for spreading light and peace. There is nobody I know that does it better than you. Hope all is well with you.
Thank you, Dr. Price, for your understanding and patience. You are always available for questions or extra help, and take the time out of your day to give me extra assistance with classwork. You have definitely set the bar high for me when it comes to good professors in the future.
Brittany Smith, I wanted to thank you for your dedication and passion in the classroom. Your way of making basic emergency and injury care management come to life has made learning enjoyable and sparked a genuine interest in me. Thank you again, especially for helping me get my mental health good, and I can't thank you enough.
I came in this profession for one goal in mind, and that is to, one, teach counselors, but really as a counselor at my core, to be empathetic and understanding and know the struggles of being a student, and so wanting to help them pursue their dreams and goals and assist them in being as successful as I can. And so it means a lot to know that at least I'm doing something right.
If I can just impact even one student a year, I think it's completely worth it. I think there's some days where we don't always hear from students in this kind of way, like that we're impacting them. And I think it's It's validating to know that we are making a difference in their life.
I love teaching, I love helping people, and so sparking that and seeing the general light switch go off with students, it's really a great feeling.
I know that something special about our university is that the faculty members are really invested in their students' success and futures and well-being, so it just means a lot that a student recognize that hard work that we all do.
$30 down, 30 to go, and Lynchburg has put up a scoring onslaught, 13-1. The Hornets lead the Quakers, and we'll take a look at our first half stats. Kyle, what's popping out to you?
Well, other than the goals and the assist, the fact that Guilford's actually winning the draw controls. You and I talked at length that we thought Lynchburg was much better in that area, but you see ground balls cause turnovers. Lynchburg really getting to everything. They forced Guilford into a lot of bad spots, and the Quakers, they will need to have a big change of direction in the second half if they want to come back and win the game. I'm not even sure that's a goal right now for the Quakers. It might be, hey, let's play hard. Let's try to stick to our principles, score some goals, have some fun ourselves. Winning the game might not be completely realistic right now for Guilford.
Tell you what, Guilford has committed 17 turnovers. Lynchburg has only caused 7 of them. So it goes back to that passing, and that has really been a problem once they have achieved that draw control. It's been keeping possession that has been the issue. We'll see if they can shift the direction in the second half. They will start with possession as Garland trots up the field.
if you're Lynchburg, you want to keep hitting your keys. You don't want to get outside of yourself and your game just because of the score line. That's not always easy to do, and that's that balance of having fun and still playing your game. You don't want to have so much fun that you're just goofing off out there.
Shot off the mark this time by Kylie Wood. And sometimes when the scoreline rests where it's at, you're up 12, it does feel like it's a little bit of a different tempo for this Lynchburg offense, and it often prioritizes getting those good shots. Coach Rafferty doesn't want to see anything from far outside.
Yeah, and sometimes that's where you get other players involved that haven't scored goals. That can be good just for your morale and just good to get different players' scores, but they're also going to probably be a little bit sharper with the ball if they're looking for their first goal of the game rather than if you've already scored 3 or 4 and it's kind of ho-hum at this point.
No doubt. Brilliant defense on the other side from Chastity Corner. Prevents anything from McMasters, and the pass is off the line. So we'll see how those substitution patterns change here in the second half. Hornets right now out there with several starters as Heffernan sends it forward. Here's Emmy Clay. Defense on their heels. Looking to maybe pick up Lynchburg a little bit further out, but the Hornets quickly surrounding the goal.
Much like other sports, when you're up big, you can work on some stuff. You can maybe run some things offensively that you've been working on. The downside to that is you're putting something on film for a future opponent. So you got some things to think about, even in a quote-unquote blowout game like this.
Neely Morris right in the middle. Go outside. Of course, this is an upcoming schedule for Lynchburg that is not going to be easy. Shenandoah and Washington and Lee looming. Steinau gives way to Corner, looking for her first goal of the contest. Back out to Clay. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Has an opening. Looked over the top. Files through. Hornets second chance. Scoggin just couldn't get one off cleanly, but it looks like we might have a free position on the way.
Yeah, I think some contact above the shoulders there on the cut through. Nice offensive approach from Lynchburg. Some patience there. Clay got a good look. Another nice save again. Quakers defensively really haven't been bad. They've just been playing defense too much.
Scoggin off the mark. Here's Messadillo. Another chance for Clay. Pass right into the center, and Timberg couldn't get it off. That was a solid save that time from Nusrati, as we mentioned in the first half. A very busy day in the office, but on the season, allowing just over 11 goals per contest. She has been relied upon heavily, and another one of those freshman keepers getting a high volume of minutes.
Yeah, if you're Nusrati, what can you do to improve that clear a little bit in the offseason? Can you work on your passing? And if you're the defenders and the rest of the Quakers, what can you do to support your goalie in that endeavor? Can you move a little bit more, give her some better targets as far as those clears and passes go?
Want to eliminate as many variables as you can, and obviously as a goalkeeper you recognize that number isn't just your number, it's the entire defense.
For sure. And I'll tell you another one that we see more in the men's game here, as we might get a shot attempt, is you see goalies run it out themselves on the clear. You see goalie goals a little bit in the men's game as well. And that could be an option for Nusrati, but obviously there's danger there when you start vacating the cage and you're doing some swashbuckling of your own.
Definitely takes confidence as well to execute that way. That's a confident pass. Messanillo just couldn't get the shot off, and Hornets retreat. Extra one, Timberg all day long and right on time.
Timmy for 2. Love it for number 21 in white, Emma Timberg. I think the goals are going to keep coming for Lynchburg. I don't think they're taking their foot off this accelerator at all, Evan.
Here's another look at the pass. Emmy Clay doing the facilitating. That's a high percentage look. The reason why Lynchburg's shot percentage is in the top 10 of the nation.
Yeah, good little series of fakes in there from Timberg as well. You got the goalie all twisted up again, and you're going to open up some new angles and seams to score. You want to run down this schedule again a little bit more? I know we both touched on it briefly, but 1 p.m. this Sunday, April 12th. That's a Code Red affair.
It's a big one.
Against Shenandoah. Hornets on Hornets, 1 p.m.
Don't you feel like there's a little added emphasis for that one as well? Because, yes, you have Washington and Lee coming up, but you know the history and the numbers with them. This is a Shenandoah team that just feels like they're a little more mortal in the conference. And if you can get a win or get a close result, you never know what's going to happen in the ODAC tournament.
Totally agree, and that's part of the reason why the Code Red game has been chosen for that one. Hope to get a little extra fan support, make it not a hostile environment for Shenandoah, but make it a little bit of a tougher road game for the gals from Winchester, as Neely Morris has been excused for a bit because of a penalty.
There aren't many Code Red games left either. And so I think for a lot of the senior athletes, of course, if you don't know about Code Red, all the student athletes are out in attendance. You just certainly feel like everyone wants to be there and be a part of it.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have great weather on Sunday afternoon as well. Great time to come out and enjoy a ball game.
Code Red for track and field coming up on Friday night as well. The Dennis Craddock Coaches Classic will be here for all of it. And that's definitely a little bit of a different environment. Normally you have everyone sitting on the track. That time you can't really do it. Might make for an interesting hurdle race if we have all the student athletes sitting in the lanes. Code Red for the men's lacrosse team as the shot scurries through and out of bounds. Lynchburg takes over. That's the final game of the regular season, and it's against Washington and Lee. I don't think there's much of a surprise there that two of the top teams will be featured in that contest. What's interesting is the Generals have maybe been a step behind Randolph-Macon throughout the regular season on the men's side, and we've typically seen a two-horse race, at least at the very top. Randolph-Macon deserves that seat.
Yeah, Washington and Lee has just been a fixture in the national landscape as well. So to your point, when you see them maybe a little bit below the standard they have set, it does raise your eyebrows a little bit. I think things are fine in Lexington. Sometimes you're a prisoner of your own standard. You're a prisoner of what the previous teams have done, and it's not always fair to the current team.
Neely Morris knocks home another. Stellar day at the office as the 15th is posted on the board. Mid-third quarter, Hornets lead the Quakers 15-1.
This is nice here. You can hear the sound, got a piece of the pipe, and another goal for Neely Morris. Boy, what a fantastic game for Neely Morris. It's not that she's had a quiet year. Seems like at times she's been more of the quarterback / point guard role, distributing a bit more. In this one, she's taking it upon herself to score some more goals.
Definitely in the spotlight, and one of those veterans that deserves to be there. Final few games of the season, you're playing these tough ODAC opponents. You need some of those veterans who have experienced those emotions before.
Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Remember we went into the history about the Wright brothers and the first flight down there in Kitty Hawk.
I still remember that one too, so I was hoping you would bring it up.
Absolutely.
That's the true trivia material.
Yeah, don't need an excuse to talk about the Wright brothers in Kitty Hawk, North
That's
Carolina.
Right.
Hey, did you know it's National Poetry Month, Evan?
Wow.
That's a good one right there. And for the folks who don't know, my broadcasting colleague is a published poet. I think you've been out of print for a couple years now, but you
That's
had
right.
your history.
We've got to get back there.
Yeah, well.
You see all these athletes, you have a down season or you have an up season. We'll be back. Just don't know when.
Right. I'm going to write poetry again. No, I think we should all endeavor to write more poetry and short stories and things like that. Got to express our entire creative selves.
That's right. There's lots to express with the way that Lynchburg is performing as this one pops the side netting. Can also attribute it to that. Lynchburg has just been so stellar, their sports teams. They don't give us many times of the year to really write or actually sit down there and ponder.
That's exactly right. We're focused on sports. You can write sports poems, though.
You can. I mean, obviously, you've spent a few games here and there with the baseball team. I think that's one of the more poetic sports out there.
Well, it is, and I was trying to teach you a little Casey at the bat last time we got together, but you'd never heard that. So here comes a free position look for the Quakers. I love how Olivia Owings takes the stick and bangs the pipes there to get ready as the goalie. That's one of her fun traits.
Little extra authority doesn't work out this time as McMasters looks south for goal number 2.
Yeah, McMasters, again, her physical profile, she can get some real steam under the hood with these shots. And just one step, fires it. pretty nice goal for her.
Obviously, it's not the offense that Guilford has come to know and love throughout the season, just 2 goals on the day. But just to paint the picture, so far this season, McMaster's has 6 games with 4 or more goals. So she has been featured heavily, and Guilford, a team that has needed it from the grad student.
Yeah, I think, this speaks to Lynchburg's defensive efforts and their endeavor today. Lynchburg really typically very good at taking away the other team's number 1 option. Now, I think with McMaster's, you also have to mention her and Emma Garland. Garland's the team leader in goals, but Lynchburg, they really make that a point of emphasis. Hey, we're going to make you at least go to options 2, 3, and 4 a little bit more than you would probably normally like to.
And what's interesting is the Hornets have really dominated at the top on the other side. Their top performers have shown up and shown out throughout the entire season. Skog, an extra pass, closing in on the goal. Messineo runs into trouble, looks back outside to Steinow. 4 minutes left here in the third quarter. Reversing direction. We'll just let this one trot all the way through. Now Strano on the far side.
Love this little motion offense from Lynchburg, using some screens, even a little pick and roll there from Messineo and Steinow.
Hossauer almost stung the keeper, and a nice save from Nusrati. Sometimes you become complacent in goal the way that Lynchburg has operated offensively. It has been a patient approach in the second half.
Looks to be a better clearance from Guilford as well. Was a little backhand shovel there to free up some space.
Confident on the run as well, as Garland able to move past in the attacking third. The problem is this pass is off the line and Lynchburg can take over. Haven't really connected the dots today. That's been the issue for the Quakers. Possessions have not been long as Lynchburg looks to get it back their way. Steinow lost it for a moment. Messineo right back to business. Hornets have put up 34 shots to the Quakers' 10. Most stats have gone the Hornets' way. Obviously mentioned the draw control battle that was closer to even after the first half. Messineo, a little extra separation. Pass over the top, and Hossauer lost it.
Maybe a little pass happy there for Lynchburg.
This Guilford team has relied on its offense throughout the entire season, so when the numbers are low, it's very tricky for them to win it. By the way, in 3 of their losses this season, they've scored at least 8 goals, so it has been more of a defensive issue. Tough to snare some of those wins against top opponents in the ODAC who really all have those stellar defenses.
Yeah, and that's always interesting for a coach and I guess an athletic director is involved. But when you build your schedule, you know you're going to get tough challenges in the ODAC. So when you go out of conference, do you try to play tough teams to get you ready for your conference play, or do you try to have a little bit of a softer schedule in hopes to build confidence? Maybe a little bit of each. I think that's what Lynchburg's got going on with their non-con stuff. But that's always a tricky thing for a coach as well, you know. First, you got to build your roster, then you got to coach your players, but you also got to build the schedule as well, and that can be an interesting component.
Shot off balance, finds its way through for Carm DeFeo. Sophomore out of Shelton, Connecticut on the board to make it 15-3. And Kyle was a great point because I think you never see 2 straight seasons with a similar strategy. Lynchburg started off 4-0 this year. Obviously had some tricky non-conference opponents, but some more windows for them to get off and running.
Yeah, I like it from DeFeo there. We commented on a nice play or two that she made earlier in the game. That's a nice shot there. Yeah, fading away, a little off balance. Found a way to slide it through for goal number 3 for Guilford. But, yeah, on the Lynchburg schedule, just on that note, I mean, you know, I think the Rhodes game, you bring in a Rhodes team that's been a tournament squad. Did you know Rhodes has never had a losing season? That was the wild stat we found out there. Now, they haven't been playing since the 80s or anything like that. But still, I think it's like 15 straight winning campaigns, 500 or better.
That's
500
impressive.
or better, but no losing season. So play a team like Rhodes, I mean, that's speaks to that beef. Of course, Christopher Newport is an in-state opponent, so that makes sense geographically, but always a good team. St. Mary's College of Maryland, tough squad there, and tough third quarter for Guilford. They do get a couple goals in there.
The lead still knotted at a dozen. Lynchburg up 15-3. We've got 15 minutes to go here in the Hill City. Hope you'll stick with us on LHSN.
It's in our DNA. Making a difference. Being real, innovative, and strong wherever you are. Creating change. You believe the world can be better. We all can be better. And here is where we start making it happen. Fostering belonging. No matter who you are, here, you're home. Achieving excellence. From the classroom to the court, we don't settle. Neither should you. Lynchburg, it's in our DNA. Today, tomorrow, always.
A trademark of this place is self-expression. Not forced, not filtered, not a facade. We don't shape students into copies. We help you find your own voice.
This is awesome. Like, not just for your career benefit, but also personal benefit. I mean, you can learn how to invest your own money. And you can learn how to do it here.
They get the hands-on experience, direct interaction with brokers, and they are learning all the different classifications of investing firsthand.
Kind of regardless of your background or skill set.
Smooth sailing so far for the Hornets. As you see, Emma Timberg shot. She had a brace. The Hornets have used the committee effort to go up 15-3 over the Guilford Quakers. Just 1 quarter to go here on Schellenberger Field. In honor of D3 Week, Lynchburg Women's Lacrosse is dedicating today's game to the life and legacy of Morgan Rogers, former Duke University lacrosse student athlete who tragically passed in July of 2019 after battling mental health challenges. Morgan's message was created by her family and teammates to eliminate the stigma surrounding that mental health issue and, of course, normalizing conversations to ensure mental health is treated equally to physical health for all student athletes. For more information, visit morgansmessage.org. Of course, great to shine a spotlight on an issue that has faced so many other student athletes in today's environment. Social media so prevalent for a lot of these athletes, and I think especially at the collegiate level, as you're also doing the academic side of things, it just feels like it's important to have those conversations.
It really is. I love how so many lacrosse teams have gotten behind Morgan's message, and do encourage you to visit that website and learn more. Evan, you know, we've talked about that before. As you said, a student athlete, really just anybody in life, you go through ups and downs and just don't know what somebody's going through at any given time. You can't always judge it by the surface. You got to dig a little deeper. But that's why we're talking about it. That's why we're trying to raise awareness and erase stigmas and those kinds of things. And, if you ever need to reach out, find somebody, reach out, watch sports, read more poetry, create your own poetry. Being creative, that can be a double-edged sword for the mental health, though, too. It's creative people a lot of times go through ups and downs, as you know.
Community's so important, and, you know, that's why it is special to raise awareness at an event like this with so many people there. Lynchburg sporting the Morgan's Message shirts, and this has become a consistent fixture on the schedule as well. This is definitely a game that has favored Lynchburg from the start. They're up 12 as we move into the middle portion of the fourth quarter. You got to feel like they are comfortable heading into one of the toughest stretches of the season. Shenandoah and Washington and Lee on the docket as the shot was just off the mark. Now a straight run ahead. All sorts of time. Wheeler looks left. Steinow with the fake. And it looks like a free possession's on the way.
Nice work from Wheels there on the defensive side. And then that's something Lynchburg's so good at. You saw what Megan Wheeler did. Defender that gets it will just sprint right down the middle until defenders pick them up. And Wheeler, Virginia Heffernan, Taylor Dory, they're so good at running those fast breaks.
Here's Riley Donnelly, freshman attacker out of Richmond. Slings, can't score, goes to the right side. Hornets keep possession.
Bench really got excited for Riley there. That's always fun when you see somebody's reaction.
This time the goal belongs to Haley Williams. Transfer on the board again, 16-3. You do love to see some of that energy that is contagious from the seniors to the freshmen. You're trying to foster a new direction for this programmer. Obviously, at least keep the culture that has been established. And next season, very much an important one for Coach Rafferty. You think about her recruits coming into the system in her third season now. It's almost exclusively her squad, and how do they react to some of the highs and lows? That's going to be an interesting question to discover.
Yeah, for Coach Rafferty and Coach Slacum, you know, I've said this phrase, I'll say it again. It's more than their fingerprints at this point. They've got their DNA in this program now, but how do you build on that? How do you sustain success? How do you get into those phases where you're not rebuilding, you're reloading? All coaches talk about that, maybe not all, but a lot. That's the ideal situation. Looks good on paper, right? Harder to do in the real world.
You know what's tricky as well? This is a team with only two coaches. You see on the sideline, Coach Rafferty and Micah Slacum, who also played at Lynchburg. You don't always need 5 or 6 coaches on the sideline to help you out. You know, while that would help with some of the metrics, you put that trust into 2 people at the top, and it's all down to the players and the buy-in.
Yeah, I think that's what's great about having this senior group is it really is players-led. You know, they're motivating themselves. They're coaching themselves a bit. They're coaching the younger players, too. And certainly, I think you'd rather have one coach you really trust than, 4 or 5 that maybe you don't trust. So Coach Rafferty's got a good thing going. We'll see if that's a good point, though. Maybe the coaching staff, maybe they add some members next season. Get some more goalies in the program, then you might call for a full-time goalie coach.
Right now, that is obviously an interesting point with Olivia Owings being the only official goalkeeper on the roster. Obviously, you do have those other options, and we've seen even in the past, it was Carson Quigley who was that second goalkeeper, but she was typically in a field position. And so now you see as she is out of the program and graduated, there is a new direction for this Hornets team, and Owings has lived up to the hype so far.
Yeah, and interesting, Guilford's got a player like that in Kennedy Gates. She played some goal last year, but she's a field player. Actually scored 4 times against Greensboro. Not much from Kennedy Gates today. We saw some good work from Chanel Fossey there. First year from New Jersey, a bit for Guilford. Had the ball on her stick, doing some cradling for a bit, but now Lynchburg's got the rubber back. Maybe. No, not for long. Lynchburg has lost it.
Tell you, some of those calls on the far side.
Yeah. Get my viewfinder here.
Binoculars don't always help, too. We try our best. I've gone games with glasses, games without glasses. I think I've come to the assumption it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to get it wrong.
That setting sun, we're always grateful for a little bit of cloud cover. Lynchburg's got the rock back.
Hornets right in front, and they'll sting another. Haley Williams waking up in the latter portion of the game. Adds another to make it 17-3.
Yeah, that's the defense turning into offense. Another turnover for Guilford. Coming into the quarter, Evan, they were 50% in the clear today. Give Lynchburg a lot of credit there. Yeah, good passing to free up Williams.
How nonchalant has it looked right in front of the goal as well. Haley Williams not doing too much, just firing and adding the numbers up.
Natalie Rubio was close for Guilford, but not close enough. Yeah, it is looking a little more nonchalant. I think some of that is, if you're Lynchburg, you don't want to celebrate in a way that maybe looks like you're rubbing it in or degrading Guilford in a way. I think both teams are playing hard. I don't think we've seen anything that's reached that level. And once again, you got to have fun out there. You got to have fun. You just don't want it to feel like you're doing it at the other team or player's expense.
For Williams, it's really been the shot that has been a bit of her trademark. And, some comments from teammates coming into the season, they were all about how powerful it has become. Feel like that's going to be relied upon a little more heavily here down the stretch. Another one on the board. Hornets just keep on scoring. This time it's Strano.
Yeah, Lynchburg clearly looking to get to 20 before this game ends. Gabby Strano, fantastic speed coming down right of center here. Another New Jersey product, the junior midi. Good find, and then the catch and shoot. That's really good high-level offense there. Feed from Margaret Scoggin deserves some credit as well.
Inside the final 7.5 minutes, Strano's first of the game. 18 for Lynchburg, above the season average by 4 now. Dropped back-to-back games for the first time all season, and it looks like that trend will stay right where it's at. Just 2 straight, followed up by a victory against Guilford.
Lynchburg's gotten to 24 times this season. The high was 23 against EMU on March 21st. Don't know that 23 is in the cards today, but let's see if Lynchburg can get to the 20 mark.
They're adding up in a hurry. Another shot by Donnelly, this time denied. I don't think that this team is in a hurry to score by any stretch. Coach Rafferty has always preached trying to make nice passes and keep the offense tempo where it's at.
Yeah, I think passing for Lynchburg has been really good today. Ball movement, player movement, those are 2, if not the 2 main keys to scoring, and you could probably extend that to almost any sport, really, almost any ball sport. If you want to score, you have to have player movement, you have to have ball movement. Lynchburg's had that, and we've already talked about their shots on goal and their shooting percentage pretty darn good, and that's not just in this game, that's all season long.
Another high percentage look. And another goal. I mean, when you have opportunities right on the doorstep, hard to miss. Hot Sauer with another. What is so impressive as well, you go back to last season, 50% of Lynchburg scoring belonged to Dumas, Steinau, or Morse. That doesn't leave a lot of room for the rest of the bench. And this season, it just feels like it has been a spark for some of those other contributors, and you're seeing one right there on your screen, Amaya Hossauer.
I could not agree more. I think more assists for Lynchburg as well. Again, back to the ball movement. Sydney Dumas is going to do so much on her own, and you want that. But now that she is not a goal-scoring option, maybe you see more assisted goals for Lynchburg. I think we have seen that quite a bit today.
Shows up on the scoreboard, 19-3, Lynchburg in front. We'll step aside for a moment on LHSN and Flo College.
Your calling is beyond the classroom, far beyond. This is where you feel at home, where you feel connected. And this is the place where you'll answer that call. Here, you'll learn to lead the way in the industry you love, so your calling and connection become your profession. The Equestrian Sport Management major at the University of Lynchburg. Accepting applications now.
See, in this hive, everybody has a place. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody is a part of the swarm. We are engineers of empathy, architects of
So far, so good for the Hornets. They're up 19-3 as we enter the final 5.5 minutes. And Kyle, we've already touched on it. It's been the distribution that has really helped the Hornets to that score total.
Yeah, let me give you some numbers to back up what we were just saying. 11 assists in this ball game. 11 assists. Coming into the game, Evan, Lynchburg had 68 assists. So 11 plus 68 is 79. Fun with math. Let's now divide 11 by 79. That's 14%. Lynchburg has had 14% of their assists on the season in just this one game.
Wow.
So that tells you what they're doing with the ball, what the intent was. Yeah, there's still 8 unassisted goals, and that's fine too, but there was some great passing to set up a few of those as well.
Well, and we've talked about it in recent games. It definitely feels like the strategy for this team, I don't want to say it's isolation offense, but they've gotten a lot of goals by way of some of those top contributors running straight down Main Street. Speaking of goals, and another for Guilford, this time Kylie Wood, senior out of Greensboro, a local product, on the board again.
Yeah, nice catch and shoot there from Wood. Lynchburg's had a lot of goals in a similar fashion today. Wood's got scores in 10 of 13 this year. Want to go back to Lynchburg with the assist again real quick. Emmy Clay has a hat trick worth of assist, 3 helpers. Margaret Scoggin, 4 dimes, 4 assists in a ball game. That's not easy to do. 5 points total for Scoggin. She's got the highest point output. Lynchburg with Steinow and Messinillo 3 goals apiece. Haley Williams also a hat trick with 3. Neely Morris with 3. And then quite a few with 1. And Hausauer's got 2. Timberg's got 2. Strano and Clay have 1 apiece. So a lot of numbers in there, a lot of goals for Lynchburg. It's going to take a while to run down all the point scores.
It's a good problem to have as a Lynchburg fan, and for Scoggin, 4 assists. That's over half of her season total from last year. That total had already started to climb from recent seasons. She has really experienced some remarkable development, and there are a lot of players that can say the same for this Lynchburg junior and senior class. We'll slow it down again inside the Final 4. Lynchburg, as we said, content to just use this passing and trying to keep it as precise as possible going into 2 very difficult games. Pass right into the middle. That's about as good as it gets. Scoggin flings it in for the 20th of the game.
Man, have a day, Margaret Scoggin. This is fantastic. Nice setup by McKenna Steinow. Steinow helps break down the defense, and she sends a little special delivery right there. Yep.
Almost impossible to save from that angle going the other direction. So 20 goals again for the Hornets, and I mean, you just feel like the way that they got there. It wasn't any one portion of the game that had a resounding number. It's been pretty even.
We got to officially call this a Margaret Scoggin coming out party here too. Coming into the game, 2 goals and 2 assists. She's doubled her goal total, and what has she done? Tripled her assist total, right, with 4 assists?
That is impressive. What better time to do it than now, too? I feel like it's pretty important in April.
Yeah, I agree.
Every game going to mean a little bit more for the ODAC standings. This Guilford team understands it as well. We mentioned that's really trying to get back to 3 or 4 wins in conference play, something they haven't done since 2021. Not always easy competition. That's also due to the conference having so many teams in the middle of the table that have improved.
Yeah, that's one we've hit on before. You know, everybody else is working hard. Everybody else has got a right to win games as well. You know, that's, as a coach, you have to understand that. Yes, you want your team to work hard and get after it, and you want to preach that will pay off in the long run, but everybody else is doing that too. The margins are just so thin, and you got to get some breaks too. Any good coach will tell you there's a little bit of luck involved.
Shot on the far side, falls through. Blackjack for the Hornets. This time it's another for Hausauer. She has had a few lucky breaks today. Shouldn't call it luck the way that she has been shooting this season. It has been an impressive clip. And approaching that 100 points mark.
Really like the speed there. She can get downhill. And as you're running, that's going to add some velocity to the shot as well. So really fantastic goal there from Hausauer. 21-4 now for Lynchburg. Maybe that season total's in sight. Probably not, though, with the running clock. We're going to be under 40 seconds probably by the time this draw control's decided. Maybe more like under 30, Evan.
Hossauer on the day, now a hat trick, 3 points, and 3 away from 100. Perhaps that mark comes against Shenandoah. Code Red contest very soon. Sunday, April 12th at 1 o'clock. Hope you join us as the Hornets want another quick stinger off the mark from Poitras. A resounding effort again. Lynchburg has been very solid on the home turf. And an extra confirmation from Clay, 22-4 and 6-1 on Schellenberger. Well, you go into a stretch and you know it's going to be tough. This team looks ready for the challenge even without Sidney Dumas. But Kyle, this is another example of what this team can do, not just in the starting lineup.
It's a comprehensive day for Lynchburg, and you mentioned the bench play. I think that's going to be so important going forward. How does Mackenzie Rafferty choose to use that bench? I believe they are a strength for this Lynchburg team. Starting lineup pretty darn strong today as well. And, yeah, great way to head into what's going to be the final portion of the schedule for Lynchburg. Final home game of the year, but maybe a playoff home game in the cards for Lynchburg. We'll see.
Still lots to discover as the Hornets extend the win streak in the series to 8 games, the longest ever between either of these teams. And it goes back a ways, as this is the first time on Shelley since 2022. You've seen a lot of the highlights. The scoring all starts to blend together with a high number of contributors for the Hornets on this Wednesday afternoon. The men's team faces Guilford at 7 o'clock. They're getting ready as we speak for what should be another exciting contest coming your way. Big thanks to the entire production crew, all the work they've done all season long, and our director, Joe Brennan. He is Kyle Haney. I'm Evan Gates, saying so long from the Hill City.